Welcome everybody to another presentation of the Basketball Queensland QBL Game of the Week by Nothing But Net Media. We're live this evening from NAB Stadium in Auchenflower as the Brisbane Capitals host the Southern District Spartans in a huge women's QBL matchup. I'm John Guarna, and tonight I'm joined by former Rollers head coach Michael Van Dongen and V-Dog. This is a huge matchup for both of these teams. Capitals technically still in it for a final spot. Spartans are really trying to make a push for a home game.
Yeah, the Spartans haven't been playing that well. I'm sure they'll be pumped up for this one being the local derby. As everyone knows, Brisbane Caps and Spartans don't get along. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be a fiery matchup.
It should be an excellent one tonight for us. The game is going to be a tremendous one. It was only a couple weeks ago that these two teams met, and Capitals got pretty much rocked in that one. What are your expectations for the matchup here tonight, V?
I would expect Spartans to come out and really be dominant. I noticed that the Caps don't have Amy Lewis tonight. I think she had surgery this week for a broken nose, so she's probably out. And yeah, I think Spartans will have way too much depth for the Caps.
Spartans have been a different team since they brought in their new imports as well. Ambrosia has been phenomenal. Ashtea has also been excellent.
Yeah, their depth is really good. I'm glad while I was coaching the Gold Coast that we played them without those three players. Yeah, they still got us by about 30, so it might have been really messy if they'd been available from the start of the season.
Well, Spartans could be considered one of the favorites for the championship. They really are a different team from what you saw earlier. Where do you think their strength lies in this Spartans team?
I think just with the extra players, they've got a lot more firepower now. They can score a lot more points. They're a lot smarter, and their experience, I think, is pretty crucial for them. The Caps have a really young team tonight, and yeah, I just think Spartans will be too good.
Caps without Amy Lewis, it's going to be difficult for them. It was going to be difficult even with Amy Lewis, but she's a tremendous loss. If Caps are going to spring the upset, where do you see it coming from?
I just think intensity, if they can start well and keep Spartans under a little bit of pressure. Spartans have some combustible players who like to get a little bit fired up. And last time they played, it was a similar story over at Carina. The Caps were good early and pushed them right to the wire.
Let's see where ball is tipped, goes out of bounds, and they're going to say another jump ball. All right. Inauspicious start to the game.
We lost 3 seconds, so maybe they should have put the clock back to 10, but that's okay.
Well, let's see. The game is now underway, and Spartans will have their first possession with an opportunity to put some points on the board. Ronnie Bear out there with Ashtea. Rebecca Haynes. Got Aisha Parham and Ambrosia Anderson. That's Parham with the jump shot. There's Haynes with the offensive rebound, and she does a bit of that each and every week. Parham can't get the finger roll to fall. Caps answer with Plummer, Bethel, Neves, Emma Reed, and Vic Aldred. So Caps have plenty of talent as well. Stepping into the 2, and it's off. That's Plummer. Good hustle there by Bethel to get the steal. Both teams looking for their first point of the night. Good drive by Neves. Nice block by Parham. I think that's one area of her game where she's a bit underrated is her defense.
Yeah, ours is great. She's very athletic. She's strong. She moves her feet well and gets great defensive position a lot.
And you see Ashtea out there. Her signature was one of the most hotly contested in the QBL this season, and you can see what she brings to the floor. She's another guard forward that can handle the ball, score as well. I know that you might have been one of the interesting parties in Ashtea.
I did actually speak to Ash about potentially coming to play. Unfortunately, we were unable to secure her signature.
Yeah, she's been a huge addition for the Spartans team. Just another bit of firepower for the Spartans as they look to repeat, as Bethel can't get the roll. But it's interesting how the Spartans really reloaded after that tremendous group they had last season. Nice backdoor pass. And Beck Haynes with the first bucket of the night, putting the Spartans up 2-0. One thing that I always say about watching this Spartans group is they always are. They're a great team to watch because they run beautiful offense. They really get it through hands, a lot of backdoor cuts, and they play aggressive, which I really like to see. And another two there. That one from Ambrosia Anderson. Neves has it. She's blocked again by Parham. That's 2 blocks already for Aja.
As we said, great defender, long, athletic, and strong. Doing what she does.
Here's Taya with it now on the wing. This is the ball movement I'm talking about. You don't see anyone put it on the deck unless they're going somewhere. Parham in a bit of trouble now. Flips it up. Can't get it to roll. Another offensive rebound, though, by Haynes. And a good look inside. Anderson was just a little too deep on that one. Neves, wing 3 is up. That's too strong. Board's knocked out of bounds off the hands of Aldred. .40 here. It's a slow start for both teams.
Yeah.
See a couple gimmies by Spartans off. And Caps really seem to be a bit out of sync to start the game. Bear fouled there by Neves. It's the first team foul on the Capitals. And Ronnie Bear going to go to the free throw line for a couple shots. First one's good, so Spartans starting the game on a nice little 5-0 run.
Yeah, just consolidating, nothing flashy, just good ball movement, finding good shots, trying to get into the lane, draw some fouls, and get to the line.
And defensively, they're doing a pretty good job keeping the Capitals to the perimeter.
Yeah, yep.
Another good defensive play there by Parham, coming over for the help defense. It's going to stay with the Caps. They've got 9 seconds to go on the shot clock. Neves has 6. She's in a bit of trouble. Nearly turns it over. Bethel can't recover, and Anderson now has it for Spartans. There's another foul. Looks like that one's going to go against Plummer for the reach in. It's the second team foul on the Capitals. And the bench coming into play here for the Spartans. Jess McDowell-White going to check in, and Aeneas Curvan checking in as well. Curvan, former Fresno State Bulldog. And Jess McDowell-White heading over to Eastern Washington very soon. Really excited for Jess. That's a great opportunity for her.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of those subs, Johnny, were targets for the Gold Coast Rollers women's team this off-season. So, yeah.
It's a highly competitive recruiting scene in the QBL, isn't it, Mike?
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see, they got that foul on. That was going to go. That's going against Bear. Her first personal. It's the team's first in the quarter. Hard to pry Jess McDowell-White away from the Spartans, though. She's pretty entrenched in there at the moment.
Yeah, so a couple of her family are actually involved at the Gold Coast now. Her younger brother and younger sister are both playing for Gold Coast, and I believe Daryl, her dad, is coaching the under-16 boys Gold Coast #1 team.
Would make sense. if they wanted to, but Jess has been part of the Spartans QBL program for a few years now. It's pretty amazing to think that she's only heading off to college. She's been playing QBL for a good 3-4 years.
Yeah, she's a good player.
Caps really struggling to get any good looks. Got to give a bit of credit to the Spartans defense. Super aggressive and really shutting down the Capitals to start, as Bear again fouled on her way to the basket. Third team foul on the Capitals. And Spartans just really dominant to start. The shots aren't falling, but dominating possession and defensively.
Yeah, they're just so long and very athletic, as we talked about, and it's creating some real problems for the Caps.
It looks like the Caps going to take a timeout, so we'll take one as well with just about 4:50 to go in the first. Spartans up 6-0. The QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It's the Southern District Spartans pushing out to a 6-0 lead here to start, with Ronnie Bear on the free throw line for 2 shots. What are the Spartans doing so far to start this game so well?
I think they're just pressuring the ball really well. And then the help when Brisbane drive through the lane is real early, and it's getting there, and obviously the long arms are creating some problems. And Brisbane then are being forced outside, not making many shots. So Spartans are just dominating with their defense. They haven't really got into first gear yet, or out of first gear, sorry, on offense, but I'm sure that will come shortly.
Bears 2 free throws push the lead out to 8. Bethel again driving to the bucket, and she's fouled on her way, so she'll get 2 shots, you'd think. That was a good drive there by Bethel. She's been a pretty good import for the Caps.
Yeah, Keela's having a good season. She's been providing good scoring, good rebound, good defense. She's been one of the better players for the Caps this season, so she's doing a good job tonight so far.
Raquel Spies checking in. Beck Haynes getting a breather for the Spartans, the captain. Good offensive rebound there by Aldred. Aldred's having a really nice season for the Capitals as well. I think a bit of a renaissance for Vicky Aldred.
Yeah, she was a bit of a late call-up as well. Having spoken to Vicky around the stadium, she wasn't real keen to play again this season, but I'm pretty sure Coach Marshall tried really hard to get her to come back, and she was a bit successful. So yeah, it's good to see Vicky having another season.
And she's been really, really good. I think she's probably been one of their most consistent players on the season.
Yeah, Vicky's really, really good with the younger kids as well. She's a good mentor. Got a lot of experience to pass on to those kids, and she can still contribute at this level. I think she was a little down on confidence after last season, so that might have been why she didn't really want to come out from the start of the season. But she's been good.
She's been great, shooting the ball really well from outside, inside as well, and just that versatility. She guards the opposite bigs, but she can take them out on the perimeter on the other end. Another turnover, though, for the Capitals. They're struggling at the moment. They're down by 11. Caravan's going to fire a deep one. That's good. It's a long 2. It's 13-0 the start here for Spartans. If they get that transition offense going, could be all over quite early here.
Yeah, very, very quickly.
Neves in and out. Now Bear has it again. Bear puts it on the deck. Spies, hands off for McDowell White, gets it back. Now Parham, free throw line jumper is too strong. Good hustle there from Spies. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong number. It's Emily Preston. Sorry about that, Emily, and all the fans watching there. Good hands there by Bear. She's trying to get the fast break going. Nice no-look pass to McDowell White, who fumbles but finishes. Neves drives baseline. She's fouled from behind. It's a good foul there by McDowell White. No easy buckets, even early.
Yep, absolutely. Make them earn it from the foul line. Nothing easy.
Caps still looking for their first points of the night with 2:36 to go in the quarter. Taya and Anderson checking in for Parham and Bear. Neves misses the first one. There's a lid on the basket at the Capitals' offensive end at the moment. Neves finally hits one to give them their first point of the night. I've seen them miss a couple to start already. Nice pass inside. Curvan, though, can't finish. And here comes Bethel. Good transition defense from the Spartans. Bethel gets her feet in the paint and kicks out. Neves going to fire the wing three. Hits the back of the rim. Another jumper from Neves, and that's the first field goal for the home team. So 3 straight for the Caps. Anderson looking to respond, and she does from deep. Gets those 3 points back in one go. Good steal there by Curvan. It's just really with the Spartans, I say it all the time when we cover them, but it's a different team from what we saw earlier in the season. You had Jess McDowell White and Curvan in the starting lineup. Bringing those players off the bench just adds an extraordinary amount of depth and talent to the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. They go, you know, even their bench players are solid contributors at the QBL level. They're showing tonight why, you know, they're a very good team.
Bethel gets the friendly bounce. Who would be your favorites for the title so far with a couple weeks to go in the regular season?
Oh, it's tough. There's a fair few good teams in that top 6. You look at Townsville, Ipswich, who belted us last week. Southwest are very good as well. Sunshine Coast Phoenix, obviously Rocky now with their new addition, Brooke Blair, and of course the Spartans. I think any one of those 6 could probably win the title.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think the women's competition is really wide open, and like you said, those top 6 teams are really hard to separate.
Yeah, you look at if the season finished tomorrow, 3 versus 6. I think it's Sunshine Coast Phoenix versus Southern Districts or Rocky. Like, wow.
There's not much. Yeah. I mean, how important do you think then home court advantage becomes in that first round?
Massive, massive.
We saw in the men's side of the competition, it didn't really help the Capitals last year on the men's side of things. What do you think is about that home court advantage that gives you an advantage, I guess?
I guess probably not traveling. For a one-off, most teams would leave on game day.
Yep.
So, you know, not the right or not the best preparation on game day. Playing at home, obviously, you know, you wake up in your own bed, you get to go and do your normal game day routine, you can get your shoot-arounds in. Yeah, for me, I would love to have a first-round home playoff.
Bethel nearly gets the circus shot. Aldridge's follow is no good. Teo pull it down. The clock will expire, and that's going to be the end of the quarter, and it was all Spartans there, V-Dog. 22-5 heading into the quarter time break. A little bit too much Spartans there. Caps couldn't find a bucket there till late in the quarter.
Yeah, Spartans are just on point right now. It's going to be tough for the Caps coming back from here. Who knows? Basketball is a funny game. You hit a couple of shots, you get it back to 10. Who knows?
It sure is a funny game, but it's certainly not over yet, but it can't get much worse for the Capitals, so you got to think it's the only way is up.
Correct.
It is quarter time, though. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the second quarter of action as Spartans are up 17 on the Caps in your QBL game of the week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It's a 17-point lead for the Spartans over the Caps. Let's take a look at that box score at the moment, V-Dog.
All right, for the Caps, obviously not a lot of contributors with just the 5 points. You got Bethel shooting 1 of 4 from the field for 2 points. Diana Neves 1 of 7 with 1 out of 2 from the free throw line for her 3. For the Spartans, where are we? We've got Anderson with 7, Romy Bear with 7, and Anae Curvin with 4. Rebound is quite interesting, John. It's 16-16 on the boards, so pretty even contest there. And Spartans aren't shooting the ball great either. They're at 36% from the field, where the Caps are at 11.8%.
Yeah, the Spartans certainly able to capitalize on their scoring opportunities a little better than the Capitals were in that quarter. Let's see if the tide can change here in the second. What do you say in the huddle when your team has a rough start like that, V? Is it anything that you can do as a coach? Maybe just a bit of a rev up, or is it a technique thing? I mean, it's tough to come out of a quarter with only 5 points on the board.
Yeah, I've been on the end of a few of those over the last few seasons since coming back to the QBL as a coach. And yeah, a little bit of rev, just a little bit of refocus maybe. Maybe try and change up some defensive stuff, change your offense maybe. But always key straight out of a break, whether it's a timeout or a quarter break, you probably just want to get a good shot on your next possession and to try and lock down as best you can defensively on that very first possession to try and get some more confidence going. Yeah.
Free throws are nice to start a quarter off with as well.
Get to the free throw line, get some easy buckets. Yeah.
Yeah, Plummer hit both of those. Now a little extra energy here from the Capitals on the defensive end. They come up with a steal. It's a 3-on-2 break. Bethel goes right to the rim and lays it in. Much better start to the second quarter here for the Capitals, ripping off 4 straight. Little zone here also. Taya gets right inside. Can't get the layup to fall though. Neves in the corner, looking inside for Bethel. It's kicked out of bounds by Taya, so the shot clock will reset. Bethel nearly, well, she was triple team there. Neves jump shot short. Haynes on the baseline. That's a layup for her. You can't leave her wide open.
That is money every time.
Every time.
That is her game.
She's probably one of my favorite players in the women's competition. She just does everything well, and you don't need to do anything for her, and she'll still wind up close to double-double every night.
Yep, absolutely. Mid-range shooting, defensive boards, offensive boards, good solid defense. Beck is just a great player, still contributing at this level. Yeah.
Great leadership too.
Absolutely.
And I think she was one of really the unsung heroes in that squad last year. I mean, we see it this year. To run through a QBL season undefeated, I don't know if we'll see that for a long time.
Oh, I agree.
The competition this year, like we were alluding to in that first quarter, V, it's just unlike anything that I've seen in the years that I've been calling the QBL. You've been around the league a lot longer, but just the depth of talent in the women's competition and across all the teams. I mean, you still look at teams like the Capitals. Up until a few weeks ago, they were really right up there as well. I think they've, consistency-wise, have fallen off a bit, but they're a really talented group also.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're very competitive. Just like the Gold Coast, while I was involved there, we were competitive. We didn't win a lot, but we were pushing teams like Southwest and Sunshine Coast Phoenix to 10-point losses.
Yep.
We were in those games with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Just didn't finish at the end. The Caps are in a similar position.
Yeah, I think that's to me, and you touched on it a bit, but the difference between those good teams and that next level is that consistency across 4 quarters.
Correct.
And it's something that, you know, when you have a young group like you had with the Rollers, you see the Capitals at the top aren't very young, but their depth is young. That's something that comes with experience, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough process. You have to go through that to help those players become more regular contributors, I guess, at the QBL. And it's just a tough process while you're rebuilding. But yeah, in the long run, potentially, you know, you'd like to see those rewards.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And I think one of the things you see about the Spartans, they always recruit really well, but they nurture their young players as well, and they give them that opportunity to contribute and to grow. Nice finish there by Taya, and of course it doesn't hurt when you can bring in a player like an Ash Taya. Yeah. And you have someone like Beck Haynes on the team. You know, Aja Parham's been there for a while now also. So, but you see some of these younger players like Preston, McDowell White, you know, even bringing in like a Curvan for example. Again, another young player who's getting the first taste of that semi-professional league. It's an opportunity to build that next generation.
Absolutely, and it's great for those juniors at Spartans and some of the SBL girls who get to double up, just to train with those players twice a week and get to be around and learn from those senior players. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I think the consistency-wise, though, it is a challenge when you have a young group. You have when you're a Spartans team and you bring in players like, you know, Ambrosia Anderson there, for example, and Ronnie Bear. They're professionals. They're playing professionally. You have to really recruit well, and I think you got to hit on your recruits if you want to have that opportunity to get to that championship level.
Correct.
Anderson, for me, having seen pretty much all of the teams across the QBL, she's got to be up there with, I'd say, probably top 4 or 5 imports in the QBL this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's really impressive. Misses them both there, so she made me look a little bad, but she can really do a bit of everything. She can handle, she can shoot. She's got pretty good size on her, so she can play inside as well. Just a really well-rounded player. There's Audrey getting inside. Comes off for Plummer. Plummer will fire a long 2. That's good. So shots starting to fall a little more here for the Caps. They're doing a better job defensively as well.
Yeah, they've ramped up their energy levels here in the second quarter. I think they had a little adjustment to their zone. I think they were in a 1-2-2 in the first quarter. They've now dropped into a 2-3. So yeah, maybe the change-ups taking Spartans a little while to get comfortable with.
Yeah, that one looked a little easy there for Haynes. That's okay as Plummer fades away, misses. Bear has it. Kicks ahead to Parham. Skip pass back to Bear. She'll fire a 3. Knocked out of bounds. It's going to go off of Bethel, so it'll stay with Spartans with under 5 to go. Jess McDowell White will get set to check in. Ambrosia Anderson getting a breather. Oh, no, there's a timeout on the floor. So we'll take one as well. There's about 4:50 to go in the first half. Spartans up 17 on the Capitals in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. John Guarna and Michael Van Dongen on the commentary for you this evening. It's been a better quarter for the Capitals. They haven't really been able to chip into that deficit, though. They're still down 17, V.
Yeah, I think they're competing more, though. Yeah, it's going to be tough. As long as they can keep chipping away, who knows?
Three-pointer is good from Taya. It's a huge bucket to come out of the timeout. That hurts.
Yeah.
Now Bethel getting her way to the bucket. Can't get it to fall. Nice offensive rebound by Aldridge. She nearly throws it away, but Neve saves it. Bear trying to pick the pocket of Neves, gets called for the reach-in foul. It's the second team foul. Second personal foul on Bear. And Preston checks back in for the Spartans. Aldridge, a bit of contact inside. They're going to call a personal. I think that one's going to go against Taya. She was complaining about it. Will go against Taya. So third team foul on the Spartans. First personal on Ash Taya. Lead up to 20 for Spartans here. Kind of get the feel, has that bit of a feeling where that was a bit of a run and Spartans wore that one and then turn it over on the baseline out of bounds. That really hurts. Parham's pass, though, a bit too strong there for Haynes, so they steal it, then they turn it back over.
Yeah, that will be frustrating, getting a stop and then throwing the ball away. But good aggressiveness, trying to get some easy baskets.
Jess McDowell-White gets called for the blocking foul. Good call.
Yeah, she didn't look like she had position. It was close.
It was close.
Yeah, just a bit unlucky there for Jess.
Aldred, elbow jump shot, hits the side of the rim. She gets her on board, though. Pass is nearly stolen. Parham loses it out of bounds, so it's going to stay with the Capitals with 11 seconds on the shot clock. There's 3 on the shot clock. Stepping into the jumper, Ellis misses. Haynes gets it, and she's going to break out. 3:20 to go now. Spartans up 20. Parham's three-pointer is nothing but the bottom of the net. Aldred getting called for the charge. Knocking over Beck Haynes. Second team foul. That's the second personal against Aldred as well. Plummer and Bethel getting a breather. Neves back in. Still staying in that zone are the Capitals. Preston puts up the jump shot, hits the side of the rim. Long two there by Reed, deep three by Reed is missed. Gets it back out to Neves for the corner three, and that's good. need someone to really step up to score for the Capitals.
Yeah, they look a little disjointed at the moment. The last few plays before that, they looked a little bit lost, like they didn't know where they wanted to get their points from. They've sort of just been struggling just to get the ball around from side to side and then find a good shot. But that was a little bit better.
So we're under 2 to go now in the first half. It's 34-14 Spartans as Neves fires another 3, and she hits back-to-back deep ones. And it looks like the Spartans are going to take a timeout, so we'll take one as well. Minute 50 to go in the half. Spartans up 17 in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you from NAB Stadium here in Auchenflower. It's the Spartans up 34-17. It's a good timeout taken there by Spartans. A couple of back-to-back threes from Neves and Coach Lewis there. They just call it an intentional foul.
No, they called it and one. Aja made a nice move, but I thought it looked like a travel. I thought she took like 3 steps.
She stepped through the contact. Parham hits him. And a substitution for the Capitals. Spies checks back in for Ellis. A little more pressure here now from the Spartans. Caps break it fairly easily. Good take there by Reed. She's fouled on her way to the basket. That puts the Spartans in the penalty. But it was a shooting foul anyway, so Reed will go to the free throw line for 2. Good take by Emma Reed.
Yep.
Ambrosia Anderson back in. Jess McDowell-White will get a breather. It's Jess's 4th personal in the half.
Wow, 4.
4 it is, yep. Three from Neves again. That time it's too strong. Beck Haynes has it. Here comes Preston, hands back to Parham. Good inside-out pass. Haynes, three-pointer. It's too strong. Tipped around. Reed comes down with it. We're under a minute to go now in the half. Caps down 19. Parham with a quick steal. She's going to go in all alone to lay it up and in. Good hands there by Aja Parham. Neves gets inside, kicks it out to Reed. Three-pointer, hits the front of the rim and rolls out. Now Curvan kicks ahead for Haynes. It's tipped out of bounds by Reed. A lot of contact. Haynes goes down. It's going to stay, though, with the Spartans. There's about a 10-second differential between the game and the shot clock. Ambrosia Anderson fires a 3. That hit, it's a long 2. Can't leave her open. She's got a great stroke.
So quick as well.
So Cavs can hold for the final shot. They're down 23, 41-18. Neves' pass is stolen. Curvan has it. There's 3 on the clock. Parham going to take a step and throw up a half-court buzzer beater opportunity. It misses, and we'll head into the halftime break with the Spartans up 23, 41-18. It was a better start for the Capitals, but then Spartans wore that punch and really took back the authority in that half.
Yeah, Spartans, they're a good group. They're going to be dangerous coming into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And yeah, Brisbane, it's going to be tough to come back from here tonight.
We're going to see what the Capitals have. What do you think was the key, though, for the Spartans? I know, obviously, talent-wise, they're up there with the best of them, but they were really impressive on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, for me, it was that defense. In the first quarter, they were really aggressive with the help. They got a lot of deflections, a lot of steals, some blocks. Just a solid job, and then that continued after the first 3 or 4 minutes into the second quarter, and they were able to extend and get it out to 23.
Yeah, it was an impressive half of action from the Spartans. It is halftime, though, so we'll take a break. We'll come back with some statistics and the second half of action in your QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Welcome back to NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It's halftime. It's 41-18. Spartans over the Capitals at the break. Taking a look at some of the halftime statistics, and the ones that are jumping out at me at the moment for the Spartans, they're 16 of 39 from the field, so 16 made field goals. They've assisted on 14 of those. They're being led by Ambrosia Anderson's 9 points. Beck Haynes has 6 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. She's a pretty efficient plus 14. And then you look at the Capitals. Capitals only hit on 18% of their shots in the first half. Struggling from the field, struggling from everywhere, really, the Capitals. They were led by Diana Neves, 9 points. She hit on 3 of 11 shots. It really was the tale of two teams in that first half. Spartans doing a better job converting on their opportunities where Capitals struggled. Yeah,
Diana tried to take over a little bit in that second quarter, as she had to. They were really struggling to put the ball in the basket. And, yeah, Spartans just getting it from everyone, a good spread of scoring, as you mentioned, John. But everyone just doing their job.
Got to give a shout-out to Spartans fan Byron Lighton on the YouTube stream. Thanks for tuning in, Byron. And I'm sure you'll be cheering on your Spartans as they're up 23 at the half, getting set for the start of the period. V, what do you think Caps need to do here to make a comeback?
I think they need to get out of this zone. I think they need to at least come out and try a bit of man-to-man, not make it so easy for Spartans just to catch and pass the ball around, apply a lot more pressure that way, and then offensively try and get some transition buckets. They've been walking the ball up the floor a little bit too much for my liking. If they can do that, it might stop the bleeding for a while.
They come out with great defensive energy through the Capitals, and they get a stop on the first possession of the half for Spartans. A good start for the Brisbane Capitals, and then Aldridge can't finish with the left hand. That was a really nice take. Those little ones, they add up after a little while.
They do.
Good inside-out pass. Bear too strong on her layup attempt. Wonder if these teams had too many potato gems at the halftime, coming out a little heavy on their shots.
Geez, I tell you, I don't know about them, but as soon as I left here, Johnny had to go and help serve, and I ended up in the kitchen cooking some more.
Geez, I'm starving. V, you didn't bring anything up here. There must be nothing left over.
No, it's going gangbusters.
Well, thank you for pulling double duty, cooking in the kitchen, and then coming out here and getting on the microphone. We appreciate it, V-Dog.
My pleasure, John.
Turnover there from Spartans and Neves now. We're going to push for the Capitals. Another shot's off there by the Capitals. Gets knocked out of bounds off of Brisbane. So Districts will maintain possession.
I think it was a foul, Johnny.
Sorry, I thought it knocked out of bounds, but yeah, you're right. Foul.
Foul on Vicky Aldridge.
That's her third personal. Something to keep an eye on. Been a struggle offensively for the Capitals. They can't get them to fall, but Aldridge has had a few good looks at the basket. There, no look pass. Taya open from the wing. Three-pointer. Hits the top of the backboard. That's out of bounds. So it's going to stay, or sorry, it'll change over to the Capitals. How's this coaching staff for the Spartans? You got a bit of experience there on the bench, don't you?
Yeah, just a little bit. Beck, Shibes, and now I believe Roger Smith has come on board. It's pretty handy.
A few victories both on the court and on the bench in that group.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of being involved with both Shibes and Roger at the Brisbane Bullets back in 1996 and 97, and both great guys, both got a lot of knowledge about the game. And then Beck, obviously having played for a long time as well, it's pretty solid coaching staff with a lot of experience, as you said.
Ambrosia Anderson fading away, hits it. She's just, I know we always say left-handers, they just look so much smoother, don't they? I don't know what it is. Good take by Bethel. She's hacked there by Bear. So Bethel staying aggressive. Her team's down 23. But definitely staying aggressive, trying to get to the basket.
Yeah, trying to get to the free throw line. Get some easy ones that way. Keep chipping away.
King going to check back in for Plummer. She's got a bit of a hitch on that shooting stroke there from Bethel, doesn't she? It's right at that top of the release. Goes 1 of 2. Cap staying in the zone. Bear finds Taya along the baseline. That's just a beautiful pass and a great play.
Nice job by Ash. She just got around the defense, got into a position. Teammate found her with a great pass, easy score.
Yeah, Bear is pretty impressive. She's the tallest player on the court at the moment, but she can pass and shoot. She can do a bit of everything as well.
Yeah, very skilled. Expect no less from a European. They're taught those skills from a very young age. She's no exception.
I think that's one of the strengths in Australia as well, is the fundamentals throughout the youth development here in the game in Australia. Yeah, I think it would more closely align, and I think it is changing a bit. Used to be more closely aligned with the European style of basketball. I think as we're seeing more and more Australians transition to that college and NBA game, it's becoming a little more Americanized in Australia.
I knew you'd say that, Johnny. But you're right. And, you know, with the popularity of the Golden State Warriors, everyone loves the three. They love the quick, up-tempo style. Obviously, it's more guard-oriented, the game now. But, yeah.
I think we've seen it creep into the QBL as well. I think teams are much more pick-and-roll heavy, a lot more looking to shoot the three and almost primarily rely on three-pointers. I mean, you know, we talk about it with the Capitals a lot, but not that they're looking for the three-point shot, but they'll take it if it's given to them.
Yeah, and I remember the talk around, you know, the QBL and juniors a few years ago was that Queensland players couldn't shoot the ball, so everyone was playing zone. So I guess, you know, with that, if you can't shoot from the perimeter, everyone's playing zone, you're going to have a hard time putting points on the board.
Yeah, well, I think that that narrative has certainly changed, that's for sure.
Yep.
Turnover from Spartans. Coach Lewis going to take a timeout for the Spartans, so we'll take one as well. There's about 5:30 to go in the third. And I gave the wrong score. It's 47-25 for Spartans over the Capitals. I'll sort that out for you shortly in this timeout. The QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. John Guarner and Michael Van Dongen on the commentary for you. 5:33 to go in the third quarter. V-Dog and Spartans still hanging around that 20-point lead mark.
Yeah, much better start from the Caps here in the second half. As I say that, they throw the ball away, but they're competing a lot harder, so not making it as easy for the Spartans so far here in the third quarter.
Yeah, turnover on both sides. One apiece for the Caps and the Spartans coming out of that timeout. Let's see if the Capitals can chip away. They're down 22. Don't forget, after the women's matchup, we will have the men's game between the Southern District Spartans and the Brisbane Capitals. Teams on the opposite ends of the ladder. Capitals really surging in the men's competition at the moment, while Spartans are sitting in the wooden spoon position at the moment.
Yeah, the Caps, they've started to find their groove a little bit. No doubt, obviously, the addition of Timmy Conrad was pretty big for them. I don't think he's playing tonight, so he's out. So it'll be interesting to see how they go without Tim after having him the last 3 or 4 games. So
yeah, he's been tremendous since joining the club in the QBL competition. And he's a former Spartan as well, so you'd think that he was probably looking forward to playing this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Tough loss for the Capitals, at least in the men's competition. Bethel goes 1 of 2. Staying in with that zone is the Capitals. Taya's going to fire a deep 2 that's off. You're not angry with that look, though. It's a good look for Ash Taya.
Oh, absolutely. Open shot. Good shooter. Just didn't go down.
Neve's going to fire the wing 3. That rattles home. It's now 18 points to the deficit for the Caps. Taya has it. There's 6 on the shot clock. She decides to fire a 3. That's way off. Bethel nearly had it stolen by Preston. Neves thought about that deep one. She wants that 3. Bethel drives baseline, dumps it inside for King, who's blocked by Kervon. Stripped out of bounds. I'm going to say it's going to be Spartans ball.
Yeah, there's that length again, John, that we talked about. Just a big team, big front line.
Yeah, looking at the block shots, that's the 4th one for the Spartans on the night. Kervon, that's just too easy. Gets free on the baseline, and it leads to an easy layup. When you're against the zone of the Capitals, where are the areas that you need to attack?
Spartans actually run the same zone offense that I was running with the Gold Coast. So you want to try and get the ball to the high post or to the short corner to try and shift the defense across, and then the high post becomes a little bit open. And it's good when you can skip the ball. You get some open 3s out on the wing. So yeah, Spartans are doing a good job of going inside, outside.
And Spartans in a bit of a zone themselves as well tonight. Playing a bit of, it looked like to me like a 1-2-2 almost. Neves turns the turbo jets on. Jump shot is off and knocked out of bounds off the hands of Michaela King. I think if you looked at the statistics in this one, you'd say, because they're quite similar, as Bethel gets a huge block. Statistically, the numbers across the board are pretty similar when you're looking at the statistics for these two teams. It's just the shots have fallen for Spartans a little more than the Caps.
Yeah, correct. It's just their shooting percentage. Brisbane at the half were down around 18%, so that is the obvious difference in the game.
There's a timeout on the floor. We'll take one as well. 2:20 to go in the third. Spartans up 20 over the Capitals in your QBL Game of the Week, presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. Coming out of that timeout, 2:21 to go in the third quarter. 20-point lead. I never stopped my clock, so that doesn't help. Good play out of the timeout there. Haynes finishes with the layup. So lead back up to 22 for the Spartans. Bethel's contested jump shot is a foul. That one's going to go against Beck Haynes. That's the fourth team foul. And that's the second team, personal foul against Haynes. Take a look at some statistics here. Caps had 22% from the field, 7 two-pointers, 3 of 10 from 3, and only 6 of 12 from the free throw line. And you look at the Spartans, a little bit better. They're at just under 40% from the field. 17 two-pointers, but only 4 of 19 from the deep, from the three-point line. Bethel hits them both. A few more threes and a couple more twos, and that's the lead for you. 20 points for the Spartans. Caps sticking with this zone. There it is again along the baseline. Curve on, floater is good.
2 in a row, Johnny. They've hit the short corner, the high post cutter, straight down the middle, wide open. 2 layups in a row.
Hey, they're really doing a good job along that baseline, shaking free. Neves jumper short. Haynes with another rebound. Beck Haynes nearly at that double-double. Curvon hits another. Beck Haynes has 8 points and 10 rebounds. Curvon's been really nice for them tonight as well. And we're under a minute to go in the third. Neves gets inside, steps around the defense. Nice pass inside. And Spays lays it in. Anderson a little strong. Curvan recovers. McDowell White fires the 3. Tipped around, offensive rebound and put back by Bear. Again, Spartans really taking the Capitals' best punch and coming out on top again.
Yeah, they're just answering after Caps make little runs. They're just coming up with runs of their own.
Neves using as much of the clock as she can. Jump shot is too strong. Long rebound. Reed recovers. She flips up a wild one. Gets it to fall as the buzzer expires. It's a huge bucket there for Reed, and a bit of morale going into the final quarter.
Yeah, that was good play by Emma. She's also playing against her former club. She came over to Brisbane a couple of seasons ago. So no doubt Emma wants to have a big game. That was a nice play there at the end of the quarter. She hustled, grabbed the ball, hit a tough shot over good defense.
That was a huge shot going into the final break of action. The Spartans up big though, 22 points, 57-35. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the final quarter of action via QBL Game of the Week presented to you by Nothing But Net Media. Back with you here at NAB Stadium in Auchenflower. It's 57-35. The Spartans up on the Capitals, heading into the final quarter of action. V-Dog, I know you're taking a look at the box score. What's jumping out at you at the moment?
Just quickly, John, for the Caps, only really two offensive contributors in Bethel and Neves. Both have 12 points each, so they've got 24 out of the 35. And the Caps shooting at 25% from the field. For the Spartans, again, really good spread of scoring. You got Haynes with 8, Curvin with 12, Parham with 8, Ambrosia Anderson with 11, and Romy Bear with 9, shooting at, and the team is shooting at 43% from the field. And they really took control there of the boards in the third quarter. Now have a rebounding advantage of 9. So, yep, all good.
How about the assist to field goals for Spartans? They assisted on 14 of their 16 buckets in the first half.
Yeah, they're now at 20 assists for 24 makes. So
that's a great.
That's awesome.
That just goes to show playing a real game, a team game of basketball.
Yep.
And again, Curvon catches it deep and lays it in. That one was a bare pass. Curvon really letting her presence be felt tonight inside.
Yeah, she's having one of her best games for the season tonight, doing a great job. I think she's now 7 of 10 from the field, so great job by NA.
And Haynes again, wide open, lays it in. It's up to 26 now, the lead for Spartans. Bethel gets it along the baseline. Good look inside Plummer, skips it over to Spees, flips up a wild one. It's tipped out and Haynes recovers. There's a foul on the floor. That one's going against Spees. It's the first team foul against the Capitals. Shout out to our boy Dave Derwin, here early for once.
Yeah, about time, Dave.
Getting ready for the men's game. Dave will join us in the commentary for the men's action. Anderson, nice hesitation, leaves her feet. Parham recovers. Parham has her pass stolen. Bethel now looking to push. It's a 4-on-3 for the Caps. Neves' layup is too strong. Parham hands off. Curvon wasn't expecting it. Little sloppy here in the fourth.
Yeah, not a great start by either team. Couple of turnovers.
Reed will fire the top of the key 3. That's good. Caps aren't folding here. They're going to try and make a bit of a run.
Yep.
Parham, nice pass. Bear steps into a long 2. It's an air ball. Is it Spies or Spees?
Spees.
Spees, okay.
Yeah.
I was saying Spies, and then I heard the court announcer saying Spees.
Yeah.
It's Spees.
Spees, yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Mel and Raquel's parents.
Beck Haynes steals it and lays it in. That's not going to help when you try to make a comeback on the turnover. Bethel kicks it out. Reed puts it on the deck. There's Neves in the corner. Steps into a baseline jumper. That's good. Ambrosia Anderson going to fire a 3. That one's way too strong. It's going to go out of bounds. Spartans going to the bench, and Preston and Taya will check back in. Ambrosia Anderson and Beck Haynes going to get a breather. Ellis pass stolen. Parham skips it to Preston. Now Taya. Bear inside, Taya, nice catch. And a great finish there by Taya. Spartans really picking apart the zone. They've got it down pat.
Yeah, they're scoring a lot of points in the paint just from sheer good ball movement and then off ball movement as well. So doing a good job side to side, finding gaps and then taking advantage.
Plummer's pass tipped. Ball does go out of bounds off the Capitals, so it's going to be Spartans ball. Don't forget, at the end of this one, we will follow up with the live stream of the men's matchup between the Southern District Spartans and the Brisbane Capitals. You look at the ladder, you might not think it's going to be a good one, but the Spartans Capitals games are always excellent. It's the Brisbane, it really is one of the true Brisbane rivalries.
Absolutely. I grew up with that. When I came over to basketball, my Uncle Fred was always, you know, we don't like those guys, they don't like us. You know, if there's one game you want to win in the season, it's that game.
Do you think that has changed at all since then, V?
Maybe a little bit, but there's still that dislike for our cousins across the river, and I'm sure it's the same for their people. Yeah, it's not as bad for me. I've got friends at that association. I've got friends at every association, but that's okay. You always want to just try and beat up on your friends.
Yeah.
A bit of bragging rights.
Once you're out on the court, friendships go out the window, don't they?
That's it. It's white line fever.
Bethel's open for the wing three. That hits the front of the rim. Taya grabs the defensive rebound. Under 5 to go now, and Spartans up 27. Nice skip pass ahead for Preston. Now Parham has it. Preston's jumpers and air ball. Ellis recovers. Aldred. Now Ellis in the corner. Hands off for Neves. There's 6 on the shot clock. Aldred has it. They're going to count it plus the foul. I think they counted it. Maybe they didn't. I thought they signaled for the continuation, but Aldred will go to line for 2 shots. Aldred skips it to Bethel. Now Neves has it guarded by Parham. They're looking for Bethel. She turns it over. Just took a little while to get into that post action, didn't it?
Yeah, again, they're starting to look a little bit lost, breaking off their structure and really struggling to find an easy pass. But that's credit to Spartans too, really pressuring the ball and clogging up the lanes.
Yeah, Spartans did a good job defending the post there as well. Fronting it a bit, that kind of half front, so denying that entry pass. Parham working against Aldridge. She's stripped by Neves. Neves 1-on-2 goes right at McDowell White and lays it in. Good take there by Neves.
Yeah, tough for Jess to do much there. She's got the 4 fouls. Yeah, did what she could.
Parham's going to fire a 3. That hits nothing but net. Second one that's been uncontested for Parham that she's drained.
Yeah, it's not how you want to defend Aja.
Neves on the wing. Looking to go at McDowell White, gets around her. Hands off for Ellis. Drive on the baseline is too strong. It's a good take, just a tough finish there for Ellis. Good ball movement. Preston hits the jumper.
There you go again. Short corner, high post.
I remember coaching with Dave a few years ago, and that's what he always said. Zone, hit that short corner. You can work out of that high post. But that's where the defense really needs to focus on as well.
Yep.
And consistently throughout the course of this game, Spartans have been hitting in those two areas every time, multiple times, a possession. Reed back on the court for Caps at about 2:20 to go in the game. 72-44, Spartans lead. Ellis's jump shot is good. Nice bucket. Out of that sideline, it's out of bounds. Curve on inside, Preston now out to Anderson. Left-handed jumper is good. It's a big bucket. Again from Ambrosia Anderson. That left-handed jump shot. Every time I see a lefty fire, it reminds me of James Harden. Just smooth. Just looks better coming out of a left-hander.
Yeah, great job there by the Spartans. Moved the ball, found the open shooter.
Spartans going to the bench. Cassandra Donnelly going to check in, as is Natasha Elliott. And you also have Esther Rareri. Bethel's jumper is off. Here's Anderson now, pushing ahead to McMullen. Turnover from Spartans. Bethel has it. Kicks it ahead. It's too strong for Haley Mangan. It was an impressive performance, though, from Spartans. Probably didn't play their best game offensively, I'll say at least. I thought they were really good defensively. I think they forced the Capitals into some really uncomfortable possessions and really didn't lose their aggression defensively from start to finish.
I agree, Johnny. Their defense in that first quarter really set this game up, and then obviously their offense started to kick in. I'm sure they're not 100% happy with how they've played offensively, especially leading into the finals in 2 or 3 games' time. But nonetheless, a win's a win. They'll be happy that they've come in and got another one and keep making a push for that top 3 or top 4 spot.
Yeah, they're currently just outside of the top four host. So Spartans with this win will stay in contention for that top 4 spot. I think a lot would have to happen for them to move into one of those top 2 spots, but they're certainly capable of getting in that 4 or 3 spot.
Correct.
And you look at the Capitals. They had their moments here tonight where they looked okay, but we talked about it in that first half. It's just that consistency and bringing it for 4 quarters.
Yep.
They didn't seem to be able to string it together for a full quarter either.
No, it was very spurty from them. But yeah, as we said, Spartans have been dominant. The Caps have a really young roster out there today. Yeah, I'm sure some of their kids will develop from getting some court time tonight. And yeah, the Caps just need to keep pushing through the rest of the season.
Just about 5 seconds to go in this one. Inbounds winds up with Ellis. She'll fire the deep 3. That's off. And the final score here from NAB Stadium, 79-46. A really impressive performance from the Spartans. We said it when we covered them a few weeks ago, but this team is a legitimate contender, V. And the thing for me is that they do seem to have players that can take over at times, but they're winning it as a team. They're doing it together. They're going 5, 6, 7, 8 deep and not really losing anything at all.
No, they've got a lot of good contributors. Yeah, their depth is a big factor for them, and yeah, they'll be dangerous in the playoffs.
And anyone really stand out? Any performance that you wanted to touch on from the Spartans? I think for me, Beck Haynes was excellent. I thought Ambrosia Anderson was also quite good. And Anais Curvan had a really nice game.
Yeah, I agree. Anais probably had her best game of the season that I've been following. And again, they just get it from so many people. It's hard to single somebody out. They all contribute. They can all score. They all play defense, and they do a great job as a team of communicating things. So, well done.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at the final stats for the Spartans. They shoot 46% from the floor, 26% from three. Only got to the free throw line 7 times, hit 5 of those. They had 27 assists on 34 made buckets. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leading the way on the score sheet for them, Ambrosia Anderson had 14 points and 4 rebounds. Aja Parham had 13 points, 4 assists and 7 rebounds. 14 points also for Anais Curvan. And Beck Haynes had that double-double, 12 points and 12 rebounds. For the Caps, they shot just under 26% from the field, 30% from 3, 4 of 13. They got to the free throw line 16 times and hit on 10 of those. Leading them on the score sheet was Diana Neves, the captain, with 16 points. She also had 6 assists and a rebound. And the only other player in double figures for the Caps was Akila Bethel. She had 12 points and 6 rebounds. That's going to be tough if you only have 2 players in double figures to win a game.
That's right.
That's going to pretty much wrap it up for us here, folks. Don't forget to tune in next week. We will have the Southern District Spartans on Sunday hosting the Sunshine Coast Phoenix. That'll be an excellent women's matchup. Don't forget to tune in. Women tip at 1, followed by the men at 3. I got to take this time to thank Coach Michael Van Dongen for joining me in the commentary. I got to thank Chris Sieber on the camera, and I also got to thank the Australian Sports Network for all their support with the technical aspect as well as the graphics. I'm John Guarna. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to another presentation of QBL Basketball by Nothing But Net Media.